Next, we have GreenGear and Scrapp.
Cool. Perfect. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. So before we get started, I know it's still early, so I figured I'd ask a couple of questions. So who here has ever been caught in the rain? By a show of hands, raise your hand. Most of you. This next question, I think I'll get all of you. How many of you have ever thrown something away? Perfect, we got a 100% hit rate. So that means there is something for everybody in this presentation. So I'm Mikey Basciuto with Scrapp. I am the YP of the Solid Waste Association of North America. And what that means is I'm in charge of all of the education around solid waste for this organization. And I am a packaging expert. And what that means is in my office, have boxes of just trash and packaging that I weigh and analyze every day. And I just want to introduce Monica as well.
And I'm Monica Daria. I'm the founder of GreenGear Supply. I'm the reason why we asked that rain question, which we'll get to later. But on the side, I'm also like running marathons, and I'm running Boston and working with a few now too. But yeah, overall, we have 100 years of advisory experience. We're specialists in technology, recycling, and sustainability. And we've both been in business for over 5 years.
Awesome. So to kind of frame the problem here, we're both very centered around solid waste and waste management, and also sustainable products with that. The problem we're facing is that there's overall just a lack of education where people don't understand what they're buying. And when you're talking to fans, you're not on the same level as to how to articulate what might be a sustainable choice for what you're procuring for your stadium. Additionally, the communication is very difficult because metrics aren't standardized. So basically, we're at the equivalence right now in the waste industry where our Tom Brady goes into a game, comes out of a game, and all we know is that he played a game. We don't know how many passes he threw, or if he went for any yards. Tom Brady was not a runner by any means. So that's really what we're dealing with on the foundational level in the solid waste industry. And even worse, incoming regulation is coming in where there are penalties when you don't have your waste management infrastructure in your stadiums or event spaces sorted out. And procurement isn't easy either, especially when it comes to plastic. Plastic in some applications is incredibly versatile and is the correct environmental choice. But there are numerous instances where it cannot be that case. And economically, sustainable choices are very expensive, and you have to be able to calculate that trade-off and know what you're buying. And finally, that social piece is so difficult because plastic is very vilified at the current moment with consumers and just fans in general. So every time they see that, they don't think you're making that sustainable choice. So justifying any sustainable purchases is increasingly difficult from a fan perspective. And this just leaves everybody frustrated. It's time consuming to run waste management programs. It's messy, it's dirty. Not everybody in stadiums thought they were gonna be handling waste on a day by day. You're often overpaying because waste management companies make hundreds of thousands, basically billions of dollars a year in profit. And ultimately, greenwashing. Every marketing department is terrified to take that leap of faith and talk about waste management because they don't know if they're compliant with the new FTC green guides that they have to be in line with. And with that, I'm going to show off some gear, and I'm going to pass it off to Monica.
So Mikey just went through the problems, and as we see when it comes to sustainability, there are a ton, from procurement to waste data. So first, let's start with procurement. With GreenGear, we help you first better produce your products. As a B Corp certified company, we specialize in plastic film, and you'll see our ponchos and our bags, which are going to be particularly helpful for the NFL clear bag policies, expanding to other stadiums as well. The one you see there is our semi-clear version, and we have a high clarity version coming out. Actually, it was produced yesterday. But yeah, and then our products are also designed. So what you'll see is both products are made from sugarcane. They're fully reusable, and they're recyclable for store drop-off. The bags also have an additive in there to make them biodegradable for bioconsumption, meaning that they could degrade in landfill within 3 years. On top of that, ocean and soil, but they won't degrade at all on your shelves. Overall, we also optimize for end of life. And major brands are loving us. Check out this Eagles poncho, check out that Eagles bag. We're also working with the Pittsburgh Pirates, New York Roadrunners, smaller soccer clubs, And word of mouth is starting to spread us, so we have leads, including with the Kansas City Chiefs and more. This part, though, cannot stop with procurement, and it's important to make sure that it continues on to the waste streams so that the sports teams know that they are making the right decision. And that's where Scrapp really comes in. They're acting as the QuickBooks for your waste data. So think about you just switched from a petroleum-based poncho, it's single use, to the GreenGear poncho. Now you have our LCA incorporated, so you'll quickly see like, okay, what's the CO2 metrics behind it? You'll see, are fans actually engaging with it? Are they clicking the UPC code scan and actually checking to make sure how to recycle it? You'll also see the waste data impact around that, how much is going to landfill, how much is getting recycled, so you can make educated decisions around that. And it doesn't just stop with our products. You could actually have it fully integrated for any product that decides to also work with Scrapp too. So say if you go from a Taco Tuesday to a Hot Dog Wednesday, and you switch up your packaging along the way, you'll get the waste data as well for that. So overall, just imagine you have all of the data from raw material to the waste streams for every product in your system. And therefore, you could then make an educated decision around what part of the value chain do you have to change. And this helps make decisions more efficient so that you could even make money around that. And I'm happy to give you some examples in Q&A too. So overall, sports teams are so much scrutiny. They don't really need more. And that's where we could come in and play so that you could keep your head in the game. Thank you. We're GreenGear Scrapp.
Can you hold up that poncho again real fast?
Yep.
What is in the top? Oh, that's Lincoln. Okay. So tell us about your deal with the Eagles. Was that underwritten by Lincoln as part of their sponsorship, or do you have a direct sponsorship relationship with the Eagles?
Yeah, so how that works is it's used for their employees, and then their stores are private, so that's how they do all their bags. But for the licensing, they work with Halo, so whenever they need to use it for a giveaway, that's how that would work.
Got it. And is this a sports-specific product as you see it, or is sports a vehicle for mass awareness and to be able to take it to other industries and be directly B2C at some point?
Yeah, so we're actually in a lot of national parks and stuff too. B2C is tricky because like think about when you're buying a rain poncho, it's usually when you're caught in the rain. So you're typically buying it on site. Some people, we have a website and we get about $10,000 in sales every year just from the website alone. But that's just people like planning a tour group or an event or something. On the sports question, we are in a lot of the national parks like Grand Canyon, Zion, and Glacier. Where sports really come in is for the clear bag policy. And that's the solution we're really bringing in there, and that's how this is specifically geared for sports. In terms of the waste, Green Sports Alliance member, a lot of them, like with their goal initiatives and stuff, 50 stadiums I think are a part of that. They have a large-scale zero waste initiative happening, and that's why they really need that waste data. The gap right now is actually coming from plastic, and that's why a lot of teams aren't able to achieve that zero waste.
And then as far as the other avenues, we do at Scrapp, we do work in London Heathrow Airport. We've done it at universities, done it at schools. Trash kind of unites us all and tells a story, so we can work in any system on that accounting framework. Okay.
Just on that same kind of theme about the motivations, I'm curious, when you go in and pitch this, are team owners looking for solutions, or the stadiums looking for solutions? Where does it fit in their priority list, and how urgent is it that they need this now?
Fairly high. We actually had somebody come by yesterday at the booth and just stop and then turn and go, well, there's a debate going on in the C-suite right now about what to do around waste, and this could not have been more perfectly timed. We didn't prompt, it wasn't staged, came up in that way. It's kind of a catch-22 around these solid waste issues, where you're paying either a contamination fee or a lot of money for WM to haul it anyway. So if you can get your act straight and actually make money on the film, like Monica was telling me, the Eagles actually sort their film with all the employees, and they make the money back and cut all the employees a check as a bonus. So it's an actual opportunity where a lot of these stadiums are bleeding cash and they can recoup it. So it's actually of high concern, especially where they see fans. We like to talk about the winning teams and the winning stadiums, but sometimes the team's not that good and they need other ways to draw people into the stadium and make it feel like a experience and a place that the community can feel proud of. And waste is a really good way to do that. And that's what we're seeing a lot of facilities teams and even C-suites see the opportunity.
And just to add there too, with the clear bags, it's a huge pain point. Like I'm going into just like launch-ons, and one time I was like completely unprepared for like a GSA one, and it was on Zoom, and 3 people mentioned that they're having problems with the clear bags and what solutions does Green Sports Alliance have. The Philadelphia Eagles actually asked me to try to create that product, and a lot of our sports leads are actually coming through them contacting me on the website, so that's how we got in touch with the Chiefs.
Okay, so just so I understand, that means that there's actually a line item of cost of dealing with the waste that they're trying to eliminate.
Yeah, so there's 2 line items. One is in their procurement, which they're trying to make more sustainable, and then, with the waste too, which I'll let Mikey go with that.
Yeah, essentially they have to pay for whatever leaves the building one way or another. If you're sending it to landfill, that's usually the most expensive option. If you can divert this and sell this so they can recycle it back into something new, you get a check cut back to you.
Okay, so it'd be great to understand a little bit of the economics and the difference there in terms of what does it cost and what are they saving. So what's the pitch that you make to these stadiums about what they can save?
Yeah, so first of all, with a lot of the teams, they're now going to paper bags. So a lot of the merchandise and stuff is getting soaked. And then so that's the cost for themselves too, and also dealing with the people coming in. For us, in terms of the products, it's also more so a branding play. But in terms of the actual cost, it's around 1.5x what they're currently paying. And then in terms of the waste metrics itself, what the Eagles do is they take all of their film, so that's coming from packaging and everything, and they bale it. They hire 10 employees to do so. And then they were actually able to not only make money back from it, but they were also able to use that recycled film to create stadium benches and stuff. So there is a cost savings there, but there's also a large branding play. So I wouldn't say so much that teams overall might save money from this, but they could probably get to net zero with a branding play in there, or they could potentially save money and also get the branding too. It's a really case-by-case situation, determining based on the infrastructure they have in place.
And during the sales cycle, how much is the analysis based on that calculation?
The branding play?
The whole, you're going to take something that is a line item on their budget and you're going to say, I'm going to help you remove that. How much of it is just going through and saying it's a economic decision versus, we just want to have better plastic?
On the waste side, we say at Scrapp, we save about $7 for every $1 spent because of the diversion and also from the engagement in the marketing optics as well. That's pretty much the most unanimous thing we found. We've done a couple case studies between airports, stadiums, universities, and that number worked out about the same.
And most recently with New York Roadrunners, it's more heavily just they know they need to switch up the product because they're just using regular film. So it's really case by case depending on the ownership and what they're valuing. So sometimes teams will be I don't care about the cost, and other times teams will be more price sensitive. And then in those cases, that's when what you just mentioned really comes into play in terms of the economics. No problem.
Two quick questions. The first one is just, and I think it goes a little bit the same, building on the prior point. So today, if you had a clear plastic poncho, you would actually have 10 people who will sort the trash, remove those ponchos, unless people put them in a separate kind of canister, and you recycle that into benches, etc. Correct?
Yeah, so that's how it works with the Eagles, but it's not just the ponchos, it's all of their film, so even snack packaging and stuff.
Now, great point, totally fair, right? So in this model, will they actually still separate these ponchos, or they actually get shipped away to the landfill and simply they are composting away, but they're still being shipped away?
So they're still going to engage. It's entirely dependent on the waste management infrastructure at the stadium, and also there needs to be a buyer for the film. With that, they can do it whichever way they want, but they would still probably want to sort the film or have separate receptacles to be hey, put your ponchos in your bags here. Where the benefit for us is instead of flying blind and they say, we know we have like 100,000 ponchos, 100,000 bags, they actually know how many have moved around at that given moment, so they can actually report to who they're selling to, I have X amount of weight of film, how much do you give me for it? And it's a much more transparent process than before. They'd have to go get it weighed, they go back and forth. It's just cutting through the back and forth and saving time.
Cool. One short question. In communities where plastic bags are no longer allowed in the grocery store, is this film allowable?
Yeah, so like for example with Boston, I just had a conversation, and the way they're getting around it is they're just doing like plastic without handles. So I just had a conversation with them, and then they were like, yeah, we could get you a no action letter for it. So it's particularly helpful for stadiums.
Awesome. Running time.
Thank you.